Now it's time for Upcycling Academy with the help of our experts, John Amabile and Laura Tapara. We're old mirrors, old frames. John, what can we do with them?
Well, I actually used to do this an awful lot. It was a challenge on 60-Minute Makeover with my name drop time, good old friend Peter Andre. And we were always finding old frames that were, maybe had a special memory, but they're so good to use because what I've done with them in the past is I've put, if you've got two matching, you've got a set of double doors, you can actually put them on as a sort of panel effect on your doors. Or you could say, for instance, and you might like this, Kate, if you have a paper mache rabbit's head or a find that you have found, like an object or a shell, and you sit it on the wall or fix it to the wall, by simply putting the frame round it without any glass or backing, it actually frames a nice 3D piece of sculpture on the wall.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
What you can do is it's a bit like a lot of people are into paneling just now. Lovely paneling, fielded panels in hall you can do with MDF and you routed it out. But see, if you've got a lot of old frames, you can actually put them onto the wall. And if you make them all the one colour, it can actually look like a really nice panel 3D wall effect. So it's a good way of looking at the actual structure itself and think, I could do that with it. But if you're left with a lot of old frames with no glass and no back on them and no mirror, you can actually maybe use them as frames to make like a weaving structure, like a loom.
Right.
You could wind the string round one way and weave through the other way. Or you could turn them on their sides so that as you look at them and you suspend them from the ceilings, you've got a lot of them. If you've got like maybe a high space or around a chandelier or something, you could create a really nice sort of 3D ceiling effect with these suspended frames at different heights and different colours. So it's about literally... How's it hanging, I always ask people. Well, it's either hanging vertical or horizontal, but there's hundreds of ways in which you can be functionally fun-filled with a frame.
Yeah, got great ideas there. What about you, Laura?
I always find that the frames that whenever we're kind of like downsizing in clients' houses, it's always the ones that are like under an A4-page size that they have in good nick that they think they just need to dump. But those ones can be transformed really easily. Like we've done ones where we've framed just a piece of mirror and then put the frame, the more kind of ornate ones, flat down like a little perfume holding tray, or a makeup tray.
Nice.
You can just put it, they do look, when you have a more ornate one, like a nice gold frame, it can look lovely. You don't have to have a mirror in there, but it's just easier and more durable. Or we've done desk organizers. So you just open the frame up, put in a piece of fabric and put folds into the fabric like pockets, then just frame that up and you can stand it up on your desk and slide pens, pieces of paper, like a business card, etc. Or just put a flat piece of fabric in there and it can become, you can hang it on the wall, you can hang earrings or necklaces off it, just put some pins in. So those small ones as well, if you had a lot, you could spray them all one colour and do a gallery wall. It's really nice if you've got loads of different shapes and sizes and textures and styles. If you do them all, let's say black or like white, and they all look like they're part of the same kind of family, but they're all one, like they're all different shapes and sizes. They can be fab.
And what kind of like paint, if you wanted to paint a whole load the same colour, is there any specific kind of paint you should use?
Priming is the most important thing. If it's wood, for example, you can clean it down, sand it, and then you can just paint over it. If it's plastic, like let's say it's an IKEA one, you're better off using a spray primer or a painting primer. That will just turn the surface into something that can then be painted with almost any type of paint.
And John, what about, just maybe a piece of mirror? Of course, I think, is John gone? I think, John, are you there? Oh, hang on, John just disappeared. I think his line has just broken up there. We'll get him back in a minute. I was going to ask John, Laura, about a piece of mirror. And I was also going to say, because I'm superstitious, you don't want to break it. I don't know, would you break a piece of mirror? My mum would not have liked that, I have to say. But can you do stuff with that?
You can, like I wouldn't break one either, but if it's already broken, you could maybe break it down.
Yes.
A lot of people will turn them into mosaics, or if you have a smashed mirror in like you can get them replaced really easily rather than throwing out the whole kind of setup itself. I've got a lovely desktop mirror that I got years ago, an antique one, and it's only about £6 or £7 to replace the mirror that's inside. But the mirror that comes out of it, usually smashed mirrors would be much better used in something where the edges aren't going to be exposed. So that's why a lot of people use them in mosaic on a nice garden table or mosaic flower pots outside. They wouldn't really use them for everyday use, let's say.
Right, okay. And sofas, that's your challenge. I mean, Oh, sofas are such a problem, John, aren't they? I mean, I've got a couple of sofas, they're like old warships. I must have had them for about 30 years. And they still kind of work. But I'm fed up looking at them.
They could do with a little, you know me, I love a cushion, I love a throw. You give something an instant makeover. But if it's a problem you have with maybe your big end going, or you're a bit sunken, I mean, you said that people's bottoms are dug into furniture. Mine is like the San Andreas Fault. But what I've done is I've got, you know, for a quick fix, a piece of timber will do you until you get to good upholster for some good advice. Piece of timber underneath, just so you're not falling through the bottom of it. But what I tend to do is I use those cushions to create areas where some maybe couldn't sit there. So you maybe make your sofa look a bit like a chaise, where you put the cushions down at one end that you shouldn't really sit on, but where your arm goes there. I'm thinking Dr. Freud here. I'm lying out. I'm telling my full story of my love of upholstery. But if you can't fix it properly, camouflage it, make it safe, cushions, bolsters, think chaises, think a chaise long, take a long nap.
Laura, any ideas for sofas?
Yeah, I get it like quite often at work, because at the end of a tenancy, we'll have a kind of saggy couch that I know is it's perfect except for the filling. If it's sagging under the cushions, that's your suspension. So if you can't get it repaired, you can buy this kind of concertina thing that fits most sofas that opens out. Like John was saying, you could use a piece of wood. But if it's your cushions, like a lot of people have saggy cushions and drooped cushions after a lot of lockdowns, what that is your filling. Filling decreases by about 30% after a year. So I actually have a video of it online where you can snip open the inside cushion, run your hand through the fibres. If it's a feather cushion, you can plump it back up, but fibres, usually the air goes out in between. So you can put your hand inside and it's almost like massaging the fibres back into place. You can buy filler refills as well online, and you can just stuff that in to increase the stuffing inside, but it transforms the couch, especially the back ones that can make it quite uncomfortable.
Brilliant. Laura, thank you very much, John.